Okay, I think we are working live. Okay. Welcome, everybody. It is wonderful to have you all here this evening. My name is Dr. Liz Corcoran, and I am the chair of the Down Syndrome Research Foundation. And I wanted to kind of make a special effort this month, Down Syndrome Awareness Month, that we would talk to a couple of researchers, hear about what they're doing. And we're really excited to be able to do the first of those Facebook Lives with the wonderful Dr. Katie Greenland, who is going to tell us about a study that the foundation has recently funded, the first of its kind, and we're going to hear a little bit about that, and to think a little bit about, well, why have we decided to fund something like this study, and why does it matter to our community? So I want to encourage anyone who's watching with us live to make use of the comments and let us know that you're watching, and if you have any particular questions for us during our Facebook chat. And we're going to do our best to answer the common questions that have been coming up and to let you know how you can take part in this groundbreaking research study. So let me introduce Katie Greenland. Hi, Katie, how are you?
Hi, Liz. Thanks for having me here today.
It is wonderful to have you here. And do you want to tell everybody a little bit about where you're from, what research university you work with, and that kind of thing?
Yeah, great. So my name's Katie Greenland, and I'm an assistant professor, which is another word for lecturer, at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. And my research focuses on hygiene behaviours. So I decided to do this research on menstrual health, largely because I have a daughter with Down syndrome. She's just 2 years old at the moment. But thinking about the work that I do, I was thinking it would make sense if I could do something that would benefit the wider community, which is why I was interested to work on this topic.
And we're so grateful that you did decide to work on this topic. How is your little one? How are they growing along?
Yeah, she's doing really well, thank you. Walking now, which is good and bad.
Oh, yes, very dangerous, getting into all the cupboards and
Oh,
pulling
yes.
everything out. Yeah. Well, it's always lovely to know that so many people involved in research and different types of advancements, often their lives are touched by having a loved one with Down syndrome, either as a child or a sibling. I have a brother with Down syndrome. I think I may have told you that before, Katie.
Yeah, that's right.
So he can't take part in the research, unfortunately. But let's talk a bit about kind of menstrual health and what do we know about menstrual health and menstruation in our loved ones with Down syndrome? Is there much kind of information out there right now?
Right. Well, do you want to put up one of the background slides just while we're talking,
Yeah.
just if people find that nice to read through while we're speaking. But yeah, I mean, it's a good time really to be working on menstrual health because it's not that long ago that it was such a taboo subject. No one was really doing anything on menstruation. And there wasn't a lot known at all in the general population as well. That's beginning to change, but not so for people with learning disabilities. There's not been a lot of research done, but what there has been done kind of suggests that there are going to be some unique challenges that people face. And these are related to lots of different areas. So self-care is things like using and disposing of menstrual products and making sure you keep clean when you're menstruating. People may also have challenges communicating their needs. So if you think, especially young people may have really bad period pain, and that's difficult if you can't express that you're in pain and where you're in pain. And people also can feel quite rubbish due to PMS. They may not even be able to communicate that their period has started. So there's a lot of challenges there around communication and some associated behaviours that people are concerned with around the menstrual cycle. And even understanding what a period is. And this can really affect a young person's physical and emotional well-being and can also affect the well-being of those caring for them. So there's a lot that we don't really know about exactly, what people are experiencing in our community. So there has been some research that's been done on menstrual health in people with learning disabilities, but most of that work has been done in low-income countries, and in settings where really people are struggling due to lack of water and sanitation access. So the kind of challenges that people are facing are a little bit different. In the UK, this kind of work hasn't really been done, which is surprising, and shows that really there's a need. We don't know. People might not be having any problems. I doubt it, but we don't know. We don't know which problems are most common, and we don't know what support people therefore need based on the kind of problems that they're having.
Mhm. And I, just to pause there for a minute, like one of the reasons you and I thought this is so important is because we had a suspicion that even in the general population, issues with menstruation, like you said, can be so difficult to deal with and have an impact in so many different parts of people's lives. Missing school, issues with not being able to sort of take part in family activities. And if you layer on that the challenges our community has already accessing education, already accessing communication aids, it just, for me, it felt like, why hasn't this happened before? And like, can we start it immediately? So you were really, speaking to something I think that we need to understand better, and we need to see how we can one, find out the problems that people are encountering, and two, then hopefully from there develop solutions. So I think as well, the other thing that you bring is a bit of a dream team. So tell me about the other people working with you on this research and why they are so specialized and really great for this task.
Yeah, thank you, Liz. So I am very fortunate. I have two excellent colleagues working with me, and they're both senior academics at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. So we have Dr. Jane Wilbur, and Jane actually did her PhD on menstrual health interventions for people with learning disabilities in Nepal. And she has since adapted the program that she developed there for other settings, including an emergency response setting. But so she has a lot of experience in menstrual health and disability research, including the kind of participatory methods that we need to use when we're working with our young people. So she's going to be a really valuable asset on this project. And the other person that we're working with is Dr. Sarah Polack. And Sarah is an associate professor at the London School, meaning she's a senior lecturer, and Jane and I are lecturers. And Sarah is really providing that senior oversight on the project. And she's a disability researcher with a lot of experience working in the UK, whereas Jane and I have done most of our work overseas in low-income country settings.
Thank you. And I think there's a lot of transferability for, some of the things and the resources you guys have developed. So we're already, I feel like we're already kind of starting with a sort of toolkit and a treasure chest of potential resources that we can adapt and use in our community. So it's a matter of just finding out what are the particular needs of people in our community. So I've interrupted you with your wonderful taking us through a little bit of the study. So I want to give you the chance to tell us a little bit more about what is involved in someone taking part and the kind of people you're inviting to join in our research.
Thank you, Liz. Yes, because there's a lot that we don't know yet, we're really starting with a national survey to try to learn as much as we can from as many people as we can. So we will know, what people are experiencing from across the whole country. And then hopefully we can see where there are some common themes coming up and the kind of range of experiences that people are having. This is an online survey, and it's open to any caregivers of girls 10 to 19 with Down syndrome. And a caregiver in this context is the primary person with legal responsibility for that child. So it could be a parent or it could be a guardian. It may be male or female guardian or parent, but it just needs to be the person who would be best able to answer the survey. We are targeting girls rather than anybody, and that's a deliberate decision. So we think around by age 10 to 19, we know that some of our girls may actually start menstruating earlier than their typically developing peers, which may be a challenge if they haven't received any developmentally appropriate information about menstruation, or if a family isn't prepared. We'd like to learn as much as we can about people's experiences, but we also have a lot that we can learn from people who haven't started menstruating yet. So if your daughter or the person you're caring for is not yet menstruating, you can still participate. The survey is quite short if you haven't started your periods, or your child hasn't started your periods. But we still want to know about how you're preparing. You know, have you prepared? Are you worried? You know, what is it that in particular that you're concerned about, and what information have you already sought? So you can still contribute even if your child hasn't started their periods yet. If they have started their periods, there's a lot of other questions that we'd like to ask you. Because there's so little known about this topic, it is quite a comprehensive survey. So if you do participate and answer all the questions, it could take you up to around 15 minutes. There's some open text answers, and it's up to each individual whether or not they want to share more. And they can use those open fields to tell us more if they want to.
And if someone, I know often people will ask if their child has autism, dual diagnosis, can they still fill in the questionnaire?
Yes, of course they can. Yes, we want to know about everyone's experiences, and we are capturing some specifics about people's demographics and your child's different circumstances, so that we can try and understand a little bit more the type of challenges that people are saying, and whether everyone's experiencing them or just certain people. So we are going to ask a bit about whether or not people have any issues with continence, and other things like this as well, so that we can understand a little bit more. If somebody says there's a particular challenge, why is that a particular challenge for different people?
Okay. And only some people will be invited for the next stage, is that correct? Yeah. And someone will be informed if they are selected for that. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So right now we're focusing on the survey, and we hope to get a really good response from across the country. And then we will look at the data and see what kind of things we really want to understand more. And then we will do some interviews with girls and with their caregivers, and including professional caregivers like teachers and healthcare professionals. But those interviews, the interviews with girls, for example, there'll be 10 to 15 interviews. So it'll be a really small group of people that we would invite to participate in the interviews. And when you participate in the survey, you can choose whether or not we would contact you to see if you'd be interested in doing an interview.
Yeah. So if you prefer to fill in a survey, you're not, you don't have to take part in a conversation or an interview by any means. We want as many children, young girls and young women to take part as possible, while representing the experiences, using the survey, just using in that survey. And tell me a little bit, I know, but I want you to tell everyone a little bit about how we worked together to develop that survey, because I think that was another really special thing that we did together.
Yeah, thank you, Liz. That's actually something that's really good to share with everybody. So we have an advisory group for the study, and sitting on this advisory group, we have parents and teenage girls with Down syndrome, as well as other people with expertise to contribute, such as teachers and healthcare professionals. So this advisory group, they discussed the kind of topics that should be on the survey, and they reviewed the survey and suggested a lot of changes that were really, really helpful. Options that I hadn't realized needed to be on there. And that's the value of having people with experience contributing to the research and making sure that it is going to ask the most useful questions. And again, when we come to preparing for the interviews, we will be doing the same thing. So we will be asking people to test the materials that we're developing. The advisory group have already checked the consent forms because they had to go through the ethics committee to make sure that the consent forms that we're using with young people make sense. And they have suggested also we create a video for when we do the interviews so that people feel that they can see what an interview is going to look like and who I am and who my colleagues are. And so their contributions have been really invaluable so far and will continue to be as we work with them to understand what the results mean and think about our next steps of moving towards hopefully some improved menstrual health support for this population.
Absolutely. And I think it was great that we had on the advisory group a mixture of professionals in the conventional sense, people with speech and language experience, but also professional people who experience life with Down syndrome, you know, women, adults, and young women with their parents, telling us how this needs to be constructed so it can get what we need, the information we need for you. So yeah, I loved that. That was something that from the start you wanted to do, because often after it's something's designed, it's kind of then it's shown to people, but you really had the advisory group involved from the get-go. So I think that was a really great thing that you did. So let's just have a look and think about how do people get involved. So I've just in the comments section, I have put the link to the survey. And if someone wants to kind of go and read a bit more, I'm also put a link to our blog that we did in March, and we're going to do a new blog and just put all the links for the survey. But if someone wants to get involved, you can click on the link in the comment, and I can just put in the comment section, or you can scan the QR code on any of these flyers that we'll be sharing over the coming days and weeks. And we'll just keeping reminding people that we want you to take part. We want you to share and represent your story to everybody, and to Katie, so she can make sure that your experience is represented in the research. Katie, was there anything else that you wanted us to think about or to let people know about with your research?
I think we're almost there, Liz. I just wanted to reiterate that, yeah, please share with other people that you know who have a daughter or person they care for who's within 10 and 19 years of age. Please share it as widely as you can, and think about trying to share it in WhatsApp and other forms, not just on Facebook, because I think everybody has such busy lives. And I know that, you know, you can want to contribute, but to find the time to actually do it, it's often at funny times of day, and it needs to be something that's sitting there so that you remember when you have an opportunity to do it. So just try and share it. And if you can, please participate, and please know that all your responses are confidential, and we don't collect any personal data that we can link to the survey. So
Exactly.
you know, it's entirely a safe space to share and say what you need to. There's a lot of protections on. We're using university data collection software that is encrypted and you know, follows the highest levels of data protection. So yeah, please do participate if you can.
Absolutely. The information's, you know, held, like you say, to a high standard whenever they do research. And they're always checking to make sure researchers do put all those checks and balances to make sure that your information is held privately and that it doesn't connect with your name. It's all held separately. So no one, will be able to, get your information or learn about what you wrote in a survey. So please, if you have any questions about that, Katie's very happy to answer more questions and can share more information. So the survey, as I said, you can share that flyer and we'll be putting that up. So do grab that flyer from our social media, download it and pop it in your socials, pop it in your WhatsApp groups for your local groups or your friends, and just encourage as many people to take part as possible. We want to really reach and be the voice for as many young people as possible with Down syndrome who menstruate. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Katie, for being with me this evening and telling everybody about your study. And I can't wait. Want to hear the results. As one of the things we spoke about this afternoon was your strong commitment to our community to come back and tell us what you learned. So maybe we'll get you back on here to talk about your results and what will be next when we hear back from you in a few months' time.
That sounds great. Yeah, I'd love to do that. And we will certainly be sharing the findings directly with anyone who participates in the survey and through all the other channels. So yes, please do participate or look out for the results in due course.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you, everybody. It's been great to have you joining us this evening, and we will see you very soon on the next Facebook Live.
Thank you.